I was driving along the other day with my partner, Kieran, and we were complaining about our lives, and we saw something that
snapped you back to reality.
Saw a young African man, and as Kieran pointed out, he was wearing quite trendy clothes, so he would have been about 20. He was riding a bike with one leg, and he had his crutches strapped onto the backpack. How's that?
And what was the problem?
Well, there's no problem. It's just like, I said, have a look at that guy.
Yeah, you got to admit, halfway round, good. Next bit around, hard.
I know, so he's pushing it just with his one leg.
Don't tell me he was pushing with the other crutch.
No.
Well, that's all right.
No, so he was riding a bike with one leg.
So he's given it a double whammy on the first one.
Yeah, and then it swings around and he pushes it again. And as my Kieran said, I've got no problems. Look at that guy.
And he would have had to allow for the balance on it as well. He would have had to compensate for the fact that that the other leg wasn't balancing it up.
Yeah, well, he had no other leg. It had obviously been blown off or something had happened. Well, he said, well, how would he have lost his leg? Well, probably in a mine, explosion. Wow. I'd guess. He's the sort of guy you really wanted to stop. You don't want to stop his journey. Hey, mate.
Hey, excuse me, mate. Don't stop me now. I've only just got going.
Yeah, I just want to say you're doing a really great job.
Well, it fell off. Sorry, my fault.
But then if you do, you just end up being patronising, don't you? And
yeah, because you bring up the obvious, yeah, thank you. I'm missing one leg. It is always awkward when you sort of bring up the war. You don't want to bring up the war.
No. What do you say? Well, I think the rule with those kind of things is you don't ask. That's what someone in a wheelchair told me once. Don't ask people in wheelchairs how they got in the wheelchair. No. They'll tell you if they want to tell you.
Yeah, don't ask someone who's got a broken arm how you broke your arm. Someone on crutches. Because I reckon when you do have something broken, you write up a little brochure and you put it in plastic and you go, let's read this.
Yeah.
I was riding my bike and I missed thing. And
one of my friend's brothers, well, like in The Joker. Have you seen The Joker?
No.
He hands a card to people to explain why he's laughing so insanely. And the card explains it's a mental problem.
Oh, there you go.
And one of my friend's brothers was in a bad accident, and it appears that he's drunk when he's walking and speaking, and so he now has a letter from his doctor that he carries around.
This is your brother?
My mate's brother.
Right.
Yeah, he was in a bad accident years ago.
So he looks like he's drunk.
Yeah, and so he has to pull out the doctor's letter and give it to police and anyone that pulls him, when he's walking along, and says, "Here's the letter to explain what's."
Did I tell you about the time that I met George Lazenby?
Oh, what Bond? Is he one of the James Bonds?
While we're on topic of don't ask the obvious question.
Oh, did you ask him why you didn't do any more?
No, went to an event and they said, we got you on table 4. You're sitting with that gentleman over there this is 3 of us, Selena and I, and George Lazenby. And as I'm walking, going over and going, what are we going to talk about? How can we not ask him how it came about?
Yeah.
And I reckon within 2 or 3 minutes, it came up, how he became Bond. I mean, surely that's a story he doesn't want to tell again. He told the story for the next half hour, which was fascinating, which they made into a movie starring Josh Lawson. They showed it on SBS, and it's called like Who Do You Think I Am or something like that. I've got it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, right.
It's a great story. He was chasing a girl, and then they got approached by a modelling agency. And then then they were casting, and then he just got the gig, and he didn't quit. No, sorry, they wanted him to do more.
Yeah, and his agent said, "Don't do anymore."
Oh, he said, "I don't want to do it anymore."
Oh, he said no to more Bond films.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of like he got sick of being told what to do. Oh. He was his own man. He was a real man's man. He was rootin' tootin', knock you out, having
imagine
rude things,
walking away from the Bond franchise.
I know, and it was a popular one anyway.
Incredible.
So next time you see someone and you don't want to ask the obvious question, maybe ask it.
Maybe ask it. Or ask a sort of a roundabout way of...
What's the obvious question that you don't want to be asked?
Why are you so fat? No, I've got no obvious questions. Even though people do ask me, what are you doing now? Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
What are you doing now?
What's your next project?
And I always go, what do you think I was doing before?
Yeah.
I say that
wasn't my last one good enough for you?
Yeah, that's what...
Gary Shandling.
I don't mind any questions. I don't mind.
Yeah, you love to chat.
What do you get?
How did you get into comedy?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind that. I'll tell the story. It's fine.
But I never know quite where to start.
I did teaching, and then I always wanted to be a comedian, and I had an amateur night. I got up and I did it.
Maybe I'll get him to ring you.
Yeah, or just make it up. Well, I was working painting the Harbour Bridge, and there was a show called Tell Paul Hogan's Story as Your Own. Here's the music.
Quick
Come
save
on.
us from reminiscing.
Hello and welcome to Somehow Related, and now please welcome your hosts Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
Well, welcome to the podcast. It's incredibly popular. Now,
I don't want to rush this one, but I know that you're on some sort of schedule. I know that we don't want to talk about it too much, but we like to get burgers.
I don't want to miss out on my burger, basically. 'Cause I've got to do a conference call at a certain
He's got to
time.
get a conference call, but he's also eating on a time reference in terms of he hasn't eaten for how many hours?
16, but I just had an apple, so I have eaten.
So you've crossed over now.
I'm fasting.
So hang on, is the apple part of it?
Yeah, apples, yeah.
So does that mean you've started eating now?
Yeah.
You've done your 16.
Yeah.
Oh, so we can have the burgers at any time.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
anytime.
So we've got time to do the
Relax.
podcast. It's just we're getting worried. I thought, we'd have to rush through. I never want to rush through the podcast.
No, don't rush.
Anyway, somehow related, where we get two topics and we and maybe you at home have a little crack at how they're related. And then Sam, our friendly guide,
Yes. Computer voice.
gives us the topics and gives us the answer, and gives us a little bit of help on the way through.
We're going to have the right. Well, let's get them.
The Continental plates and fingernails.
I love Continental plates. I love going to a Greek restaurant, getting a bit of a plate with tzatziki and saganaki.
That's not the Continental plate.
That's not the Continental plate. The ones they smash at the end of the night. Is that a Continental
Have you ever
plate?
done that?
No.
The only time I did it was at a Greek engagement party, and we all smash, and then you jump up and dance around.
Yes. Ooh.
And then they said, "Can we take your photograph?" And I went, "Yeah, right." And then it was one of those photographs that you half blink.
And it appears on the wall. They put it on the
They
wall.
put it on the front window of the restaurant. And we used to walk past.
Glenn Robbins!
There he is. Yeah, give him one of those bad smiles. Continental plates.
Are they the things that sit under the continents? Yeah.
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 And when you think of it, Earth is hard. World is round. How do you get something to stick on there?
Well, that's because the world's flat. We know that. Flat. I'm a flat earther from way back.
You've always been a bit of a
Flat earther. Anti-vaxxer, flat earther, 9/11 conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
No, I'm none of those. But
So therefore, it can't be completely spherical. Is that the word?
yeah,
It would have to be a collection of
bit of a bend.
tiles. They're like tiles. I think there's like 6 continental plates, isn't there?
Like the inside of a golf ball. I remember opening up that as a kid. How exciting was that?
Well, it used to be wrapped in
Rubber bands
Rubber
and then
bands.
paint in the middle.
Now it's all this some space age stuff.
I bet you it's not as fun as when we used to do it.
No, and I think there was a little ball in the middle with
Yeah.
goo in it. Or something.
Yeah, like a paint sort of thing. So
Yeah.
exciting.
How did you open them up? You had to get them
Got a
with
saw, got a hacksaw. Had to put in the dad's vice and just.
The things you did to fill in time.
But
when
once
you
you
were a
did
kid.
once, he was like, "I'm not doing that again."
So I think there's 6 continental plates.
In the world,
I think there's 6 big. Oh, I could be wrong. Don't yell at me. And I think there's like a whole lot of other small
6
ones.
continental plates.
It's a bit like those bathrooms that were done in the 60s with tiles.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a mismatch of tiles. And you've got some little ones and you've got some big ones.
So, like, what plates have we got? We got savoury. We got sweet. Now, what? So,
Oh, yeah, there is them. Probably got names. I know there's the San Andreas Fault. That's the edge of one,
that's,
isn't it?
That's in America, isn't it?
That's right through California.
where the earthquakes happen.
Yeah.
Is that why earthquakes happen? Because the plates move?
I think they rub against. Well, I think they're always moving a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they would be moving. Yeah.
There's the
The
divergent and covert. What's coming? Divergent would be going away from one another. What would be coming into each other? Convergent.
I'm just going to guess. Did you ever been in an earthquake?
I remember. Ever been one?
Ever been in one?
Yeah, I've been in a couple. Well, as in, in Melbourne.
Yeah, I've been in the Melbourne one.
I remember 2 in Melbourne. I remember looking when I was a kid at all the things on the shelf shaking.
Oh.
And going, this is not normal.
Hang on, was that shelf attached to the lounge room where your parents' bedroom was?
That was the toilet wall.
Was it a Saturday night?
Dad wasn't eating enough fibre.
So that would have been the 70s.
And then we had one.
There's one in the 80s.
Was there?
I remember lying in bed with my twin brother. It was a Friday night. We'd been to Venturers.
I was lying in bed with my twin.
No, separate beds. All right, separate beds. We shared a room.
Okay.
And I reckon it was 11 o'clock at night, and the whole room just went boom, like that. And I said to Glenn,
Yeah.
and, we were teenagers, so anything could have been happening in those beds. But I said, did you feel that? He went, yeah. And it was in the paper the next day, the whole... Because, it depends where you are in Australia, wherever. You can be closer to the epicenter, of course, than...
Yeah, often we feel them and then you realise the epicenter is like,
In Gippsland, the last one was. They had a big one in, like, Maffra or
Well, I live
like
near a major road and we have houses are on concrete bases a lot of the time. Some of them aren't, but ours are on a concrete base. And I remember watching the television and feeling a rumble, without getting too into the detail. It came right up my backside. And I went straight away.
Oh.
I went, that was not a truck going past on the
big road.
I'm going, this is an earthquake right now.
Wow.
And it shook. And it was a bit like when you lean against the washing machine on spin cycle.
Yeah.
When it goes,
Well, they reckon LA and they're due for another one, don't they? They always keep saying they're due
San Andreas.
Yeah, they're due for another. And New Zealand's another. Oh, that's right. That Christchurch, that was terrible.
It was terrible. And
Awful.
then I think they're doing okay now. But
Awful.
they went through aftershock after aftershock.
Yeah.
And then they're going, well, can we build again? They have to ask the question.
Yeah.
And I guess they have to build with earthquake in mind. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
So, it's
terrible.
It's terrible. What else do we know about
Continental plates. I can't believe there's only 6. So they must be huge. They must go under whole continents, these Continental plates.
I hope I'm right. I reckon there's only 6.
You haven't been looking at a menu, have you?
But isn't that what
What are the
caused
6
Mount Everest?
Was that a Continental plate squirting up, kind of like crashing
They're
into each other?
going into each other and it goes, and then this is one that's a bit like it's held on because normally it would go crack and fall down a bit.
Yeah.
But the old Everest is going, no, this is number one.
Mm.
So that's what. So you would imagine a lot of mountains are made through volcanic reaction.
Yeah.
Some would be made through reaction of continental plates pressing up against each other.
Yeah, wow.
And that's what a tsunami is.
Well, of course, it's an earthquake in the ocean that forces the water.
And that would be where the continental plates go clunk and they punch. Because I reckon I've only heard of tsunami. I remember in my youth they were called tidal waves.
Tidal waves, man.
They were called tidal waves.
It was a big movie.
And we didn't. But I never seen it. I don't remember seeing it on the news.
No.
But we've had a number of tsunamis of late.
The big one, a long time ago now in the Maldives, and that was just horrific. That one,
horrendous. Yeah,
that was a big one. Then the Japanese one with the earth in Fukushima,
and that caused the
which we've done
meltdown
before on this podcast.
So they've got a lot to answer for.
Continental plates.
So if you're living on a fault line and listening to the show, I wish you all the best.
I just keep thinking of Continental soup. That range of soup from the Continental soup in a cup. Continental soup in a cup. That's what it was. All right.
I've got to say, have you ever had a continental soup in a cup?
Years ago. The noodles.
I reckon there was too much salt.
Oh, there's so much salt.
And I don't know what they're thinking.
But the flavouring is the best bit. You get 2-minute noodles and get that flavouring.
Anything that comes.
MSG.
So it's a satchel. You get hot water and a satchel. Just one satchel.
Yep.
And then there was also those meals that you could get in a cup, which were like Chinese food and
yes. They went through a whole phase for a while. Su Min meal in a cup. Oh, they were great, but they were so bad for you. Oh, let's move on to fingernails.
Fingernails.
My fingernails are quite nice. Look at my fingernails.
You might mind it.
I have to go to top and toes or whatever it's called.
If you were to see me doing my fingernails, would you be and toenails at the same time? Would you be slightly repulsed?
Yeah,
seeing anyone doing their nails is slightly repulsive, is it not?
Definitely not a first date thing, not a second date thing, or a third date.
Would you judge me for where I did it?
Yeah. Okay. Where do you do it? Do you do it over the sink?
No!
Onto newspaper?
No!
Oh, don't come into my house then.
The newspaper. What, in the lounge room?
Oh, look, I do it in the backyard. I tend to do it in the backyard.
That's what I say. I go in the backyard.
I tell you what, if it's raining or it's really hot outside, I'd do it above the sink. Not my toenails, just my fingernails. Were you offended by me cutting my nails in the sink?
But that's...
I don't rinse the pasta off in there.
But you lift your foot up and put it in the sink.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about fingernails.
And what do you do with your fingernails when then you put them down the...
You wash them down the sink. It's all going to the ocean.
I would.
Dolphins
you know
enjoy
what?
that.
I would rather see you do it. I do it at my desk sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
and then sometimes they click and fly.
Yeah, you just go, where'd that go?
I'm doing so. I've got 10 fingers.
My
I've
wife
only
will come
got
in-
7 bits of nail.
My wife becoming very angry when she finds it. Who's been cutting their nails? She'll find one stray nail somewhere.
I had
Very angry.
someone I lived with who would do it in the bath, sit on the edge of the bath,
No, that's no good.
and then leave them in the bath.
No, that's no good.
I mean, you don't want to judge
That's
someone,
no
but I got to say that
That's no good.
It's not good, is it?
And that's not that person's not the marrying kind. You don't want to marry them. You know, my dad was telling me that they're getting 5 visits a year now from a podiatrist who does their nails.
Have you ever had it done?
Yeah, it's great.
Good, isn't it? They have a good old look. And
Dad
they
said
know
you should get it done. I'm like, Dad, I'm too young. I can cut my. Even though I find it hard to cut my toenails sometimes.
because you can't get down there.
Yeah, and the left hand or whatever, the left foot is harder than the.
I can
going
touch.
the-
Look at this. I can touch my nose with my foot.
Go on, show us. Oh, here we go, yoga.
that
He's done. Doctor,
I did
be careful.
That hurt. Shit. Don't show off. Anyway,
Be
so I don't have
careful.
any much trouble doing my toenails. But yeah, getting a podiatrist done, and then they give you a bit of a.
Yeah, he said it's great.
It's how many times they come? 4 times a year.
5 times a year, and he said they come to the house.
Yeah,
It's all part about being old.
it is a sign that if someone's not taking care of themselves, if they got long fingernails and
Yeah,
dirty fingernails.
I know, it's a bad look. It's
Yeah,
bad
and
look.
how do you clean your fingernails if they are sort of let's just say they're not too short and they're not too long, they're just right. How do you clean them?
Well, that's what teeth are for. No, I don't. Just I clean it with another fingernail. I think. Do I?
I use the letter opener. Is it?
Oh, that's a good idea.
But
No,
it's
it's
still
good to-
But if you've been in the garden, right, and it's full of body business.
Yeah.
It's full of dirt. And also, when you wash your hair, it's a double win because you're actually cleaning your fingernails at the same time.
Really?
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, true. Oh, because your hair. Yeah, I thought you were trying to tell me something. Yeah, your fingers are going in there. Well, yeah, very good point. Don't you sometimes, though, if you've been cooking or you've been in the garden or you've been doing something, or even doing something around the house like it involves grease, and then you sit down to eat dinner and you go to pick something up, you're like, oh my God, look at my fingernails.
You look
They're disgusting.
You do look horrible, don't you?
Ugh.
Or if you see someone serves you, just say for example,
Oh.
I work at a restaurant. You would want to check your
Yeah.
staff because if you get your food served and you got a bit of a jammy
good.
thumb there with gunk underneath it, you're going,
No
I can't
good.
not think about that now.
No good. Not at all. No good.
Yeah, ever painted your nails? Come on, you're a rock guy. You're in a band.
Yeah, we
That's a
never-
band. That's kind of like being a little bit rebellious 101. Paint your fingernails or paint your toenails.
No, I never. That's a bit after my time. That was more sort of gothic and emo. Will Anderson used to do the nail polish, didn't he?
Do you?
Yeah, he did the nail polish.
Well,
A few male comics.
on
did
both
it.
hands.
Oh, 1 or 2. I don't know. I just remember him doing it. I remember around that was 90s. A few rock sort of types in the 90s did it, but I was more 80s. So we didn't do it. We didn't do that stuff. Also, you got to remember, I lived in the outer suburbs. You had to get the train. So,
Oh, you get beat up if you had fingernails.
of course, you get bloody bashed by the skinheads if you got nail polish.
Because you had a tough guy come up to you and you had the painted fingernails. You just keep your hands in your pockets.
Well, I tell
And
the
then-
story in my
yeah.
stand-up how the tough guy approached me on the train. I had makeup on my face because I'd come from my gang show rehearsal and I'd forgotten about it. And he actually said to me, "Are you wearing makeup?" He was a Blackburn sharp, I think. This guy, he was a tough guy. "Are you wearing makeup?" I'm like,
What-
"Why
what
would
did
I
you
be
do?
wearing makeup? I'm not wearing makeup."
Not. I was in the gang show.
Yeah,
You were a scout.
No, I'm still a scout.
What happened?
So-
Did you avoid trouble?
No, I can't.
Did you get roughed up?
What actually happened in reality? I have a different version in my stand-up. But in reality, Evan Stenziotis, who was a tough guy, this was on the way home from the Devo concert, right?
Right. What's the song they sang?
Whip it good.
Dun, 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 dun.
Crack that whip. 982. We're on the train. I've got my makeup on from the gang show. I've forgotten about it. These tough guys get on. They try to pick a fight with us, but then Evan Stenziotis, he's now a lawyer, he came through the door of the carriage, which was, only the inspectors could do that.
Yeah.
The tough
Because
guys.
did he see trouble?
Yeah, he could see us getting picked on, and he was
Yeah.
he came.
He's a friend of yours. He was in your team.
Yeah, and he was a big Devo fan. He just came through and went, what's going on here? And I also remember the insult that this guy said to us, "You boys work in a fruit shop." It's a very old-fashioned thing to call someone a fruit. You boys work in a... But yeah, thank God, Evan Stenziotis came through at the last minute and actually pushed this guy and went, "What are you doing?" And He's like, oh, nothing, nah, nothing. You know, that kind of.
And he was big and tough. And
Evan was big, yeah.
And then, did you give him a hug or something?
No.
Hey, Evan, thanks, mate.
Thanks,
Got
Evan.
your
Thanks,
back.
mate. Thanks,
Thanks,
mate.
mate.
Well, yeah. He was a good guy.
I'd like to see Evan one day and ask him about that.
Evan Stantz, he's a lawyer now. Yeah. I did a gig about 5 years ago, and this guy kept yelling at stuff. Like
It was Evan?
It was Evan.
Oh, Evan, give and take away.
Evan Stantz.
What else can we say about?
Yeah, the good-looking guy. I always had a girlfriend at school. He was that guy.
Oh, he was that guy. Good looking. He was a jock.
Attractive girl. I met his girlfriend's sister the other day at a gig, and she said, "Remember my sister went out with Evan Stenciotis?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, of course I remember your sister." Yeah.
Evan Stenciotis. Was he European in some way?
Greek. Big Greek boy.
Big Greek boy.
Speaking of Greek
I've
restaurants,
had a nail fall off.
Oh, I cut one. What was I doing yesterday? I was moving furniture, and I was moving a mattress, and I ripped a fingernail. Oh, there's nothing worse.
Or I tell you what's really bad is when it bleeds under the nail and the blood can't get out. The pressure in your finger.
Terrible.
You know what you got to do? You got to drill a needle in there or go put a little. Don't do it. If you're listening, kids.
Have you ever had an ingrown nail?
Yeah.
Very painful.
Now, am I right in saying you just file the middle of the nail and it softens the middle and it can grow back in? Am I right in saying that?
I don't know.
Because what happens is the pressure is going outward, so.
I don't know if you know, but I'm not a podiatrist. I don't work at Tips and Toes, so I wouldn't know.
Tips and Toes. My podiatrist is an ex-ballet dancer.
Oh, well,
so she knows a lot about feet. Because my bunions are getting a bit big, but not so big that I need them operated on. My mum had hers done.
Oh.
She had toes going the other way because she was a ballet dancer.
Your mum?
Was it belly or ballet? I can't remember.
Something like that. Stripper. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah. Nails are interesting, aren't they? Because, my teenage daughter started painting her nails because you can smell it in the house.
Yeah.
They paint their nails blue and stuff, the teenage girls. Bit of fun.
There's a big level of contentment that, I'm going to say it, that women get when they have their nails done. They go, okay, I feel complete now.
Yeah.
But if they're slightly chipped or whatever, they go, I'll just go file it back a bit. No,
but there are those places like Tips and Toes where you walk past and it's like, it's a very female environment, isn't it?
Well,
Me or you can't probably wander in there.
Have you? Well, I had a split nail. Ever had a split nail?
No.
What happens is it splits because I forget why, and then eventually it splits right down the middle of the nail.
Oh.
And then you got trouble because it just stays in a split, grows in a big V then.
Oh.
And what you do when you first recognise the split is you go to one of those nail places and they know. Then they just put like this. They paint something on it, which is like an overall, which you can't see. And then your nail goes, it's like putting your nail in plaster.
You've been to Tips and Toes?
I've been to Tips and Toes.
Wow.
And then they sat me in the window. And I felt like going, excuse me, mate, I'm a tough guy. I'm not getting my nails, I'm only getting colours done. I've split it doing some manly things.
You see tradies and guys and wife fans going, yeah, that'll be right. That Glenn Robbins bloke, look at him.
Yeah, he'd get his
nails. Getting a
but it worked. It really, so if you have got a split nail.
That's good. You don't have to go to a doctor, you just go there.
It probably means I haven't got something in my diet because my nails were splitting.
Yeah, split nails, like split peas. I don't know.
Something, because there's a vitamin.
Get your FODMAP out.
Vitamin that you take, which is good for hair and nails. I think there's a product called Hair and Nails.
There is. It's vitamin. Oh, let's not guess. It's D or E. It's one of them. It's not C.
It's not C.
It's not C. It's D or E.
Good for hair and nails.
Hair and nails.
What about those people that grow the really, they never cut their nails?
Oh, like the guys in India and stuff that you see in Guinness Book of Records, those guys with long hair and the big nails.
You can't ask them to make a phone call for you. Yeah. Can't ask them to help.
Get your iPad out there, Guru. It's often a Guru kind of looking bloke.
Can you open the front door for me? I'll go shopping. Oh, you can't again because you got the fucking big nails again.
Oh, you got to roll it. They look like a witch, don't they?
And how would you scratch your? How would you?
Oh yeah.
What about in some
wiping
cultures? I won't go into it. And wiping it. Yeah, they have. It's repulsive, but they have one really long fingernail, usually a little one.
No, to use for certain things.
For picking their nose.
Oh my god.
Picking their nose.
Picking their nose?
Yes. I'm not going to say what culture it is.
No, okay.
But you can't argue. You can't, but you do make a mental note when you go to shake, you go, which is your long fingered, which is your hand, that you got the long fingernail on.
No thanks.
Hmm.
Well, should we have some thinking music?
Yeah.
I don't know what else I can say. I'm racking my brains for a
Well,
connection.
Well, in terms of thinking music,
Yep.
what's coming to mind is continental plates would cause an earthquake, wouldn't they? We talked
about that.
Has there been? Was there a movie called San Andreas? There was a movie called San Andreas.
There's a movie called Earthquake too.
Was that in the 70s?
Yeah. There was that whole raft of disaster. There was Poseidon Adventure.
And there was Towering Inferno.
There was Earthquake. There was a tidal wave one too.
So could we hear the trailer?
Oh, great.
You know what I like about the trailers from the 70s? They always say there's what's going to happen, tragedy, action, and they give you the stars of the film. They read out the stars. Now you would never do that in a movie, in a trailer nowadays.
They kind
back
of
then. So all the stars would line this person and that person, and just when you thought we'd run out of people to say,
Burt Reynolds,
that person as well,
Dolly Parton.
Earthquake. So I reckon we can find one. Sam, can you find one?
Find one for us, Sam.
Earthquake in 1975.
Universal has given Earthquake its maximum effort, starting with a story and screenplay written by George Fox and Mario Puzo, author of The Godfather. Universal has enriched this fascinating drama of interwoven lives with a superb cast. Charlton Heston, Ava Gardner, George Kennedy, Lorne Greene, Genevieve Bujold, Richard Roundtree, Marjo Gortner, Barry Sullivan, plus the city of Los Angeles and its millions of people living, loving, planning, fighting until nature's most violent upheaval forces them to battle and claw for life itself.
Oh, that was great. Loved it. Brought me right back to the Forest Hill Cinema.
That's what a trailer's all about.
Yeah,
That's what you want to know. Who's in it? What sort of action you're going to get? End of story. You know.
And you want to see, obviously we couldn't see that, but you could hear it. There's buildings falling down.
So if you watch a trailer and it's some woman eating a bit of soup or something, you go, what's that going to be?
What is this, an ad? Or, it's a trailer.
God, it's a trailer. God.
All right, well, you have a crack. I've got to think of something.
Oh, yeah, this is hard.
I'll go first. I think Continental plates and fingernails are... they have something similar in the way they've structured. Now, I don't know.
I mean the same shape, you mean?
Yeah, okay, we're going to go the same shape.
You're going to same
That's
shape and So, this is a stupid thing to say, but I wonder about because your fingernails grow.
Yeah.
I wonder if continental plates grow or move. Because continental plates are like with the center, they're always on the move, aren't they? Aren't they? Like a glacier?
Yeah, they're slowly moving.
Moving. I wonder if they grow about the same because your fingernails grow quite quickly.
Yeah, true.
I reckon they grow at the same rate.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get the answer. Sam, what's the answer?
The continental plates of Earth that carry the continents move at the same speed fingernails grow to 2 centimeters per year. The plates were doing this about 200 million years ago. There's a link to a computer model in the show notes along with more information. Computer models are great.
Oh, what? So you were right.
Oh, how you going?
They grow at the same rate.
That's ridiculous. That was just a pot shot.
But who would know that?
I was trying to be half funny with that.
Who would find that out? Who would actually research that? Who would sit down and go, fingernails and continental plates?
You have been listening to Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
You often wonder about those facts that you go, who measured that?
Yeah, who did
I
that?
read one the other day that said that the humans weigh are the same weight as the amount of ants in the world. You're going, how do you
know that?
And how did you weigh all the ants?
Yeah.
How did you work it out?
That's not true.
But that is interesting. So the amount that your fingernails grow, which I don't know what that would be, but it's pretty quick.
So the continental plates, wow.
They move in the same amount.
Well, that's incredible.
So basically California have got a whole lot of fingernails pushing up against them.
Yeah.
And if it goes, there's too much fingernail. Time to cut your fingernails back.
Yeah, come on, California. Cut those nails. Well, I've learned something today. I really have.
Yeah, but you know what? Is that one of those? I reckon that's one of the ones that you could bring up at a dinner party.
Definitely. Or when you see someone cutting their nails, when you see your partner
yes.
or your kids. I'll give you a bit of a fact while you're cutting the kids' nails. Here we go, kids.
You know, that's the first thing in older people homes. That's what they go around and check. That's the first thing they check.
Nails.
to see if the people have been taken care of by how long their nails are. One of the first things.
Wow.
Yeah. And cutting someone else's nails is quite pleasurable for the cuttee, but for the cutter, it's quite hard.
Stressful.
It is quite stressful.
So they just check the nails. So if the nails are fine, that's a pass.
All right.
Excrement on the wall.
That's one of the sneaky checks they do.
Yeah, right.
They can check the menu, they can check the linen, they can check whether they have had their hair cut and all that, check their health. But
well, both you and me, because of the situation, we're both regular visitors now to aged care facilities.
Yep. And I gotta
say, I'm checking it out for the future.
Well, the one that my mum's in, I'm going, wow, food's pretty good.
Well, the one that I go to is high rise. You go to View, and the food's good.
The food's good. This one doesn't have a smell about it.
No, nor does this one. There's no, because I said it doesn't smell like cabbage. It used to smell like cabbage, old people's homes.
Yeah, there'll be something about them. But this one has a good smell, good staff. Won't be long before you and I'll be doing this podcast.
From the home.
From the recreation area.
Hello!
Oh, sorry.
Shut up, Stan. We're on.
I'll be doing it as Uncle. And welcome to Somehow Related, a marvellous show.
And we'll just bring in our own issues. And today, they'll all be elderly issues. Today's topic is hemorrhoids and corns. What is the connection? I've got both of them. All right. Next. I can't wait.